What's up guys, I'm randomfrankp, and today we're going to be checking out my top 5 gaming mice from 2020. Now keep in mind this is my personal list. I've tested and tried out tons from this year, but also everyone's hand size, grip, and preference is going to be different, so keep that in mind. But also, we've been completely spoiled because 2020 showed the release of the most gaming mice ever. No other year had more releases than 2020, so there's a lot to pick from. Like I said, we'll go over my top 5, but also as you saw from the thumbnail, there was more than 5. There's definitely a good amount of honorable mentions and runner-ups that we're gonna have to go over because you can't just narrow all these great gaming mice we got this year down to 5. So sit tight, it's a bit of a longer one, but we'll go through it all for you. If you see anything you like, you want to check it out, I'll put them all in the description down below. With the holidays coming up, add them to your wish list, and keep an eye on them as well, because of Black Friday and Cyber Monday next week, hopefully you can find some of them on sale. Now first up, coming in at number 5, is the newest one to this list, because this literally just came out, and it's a follow-up from one of the top-selling mice of all time, the G Pro Wireless. This is the brand new Logitech G Pro X Superlight. Now the G Pro X Superlight cut down nearly 20 grams in weight to 63 grams now, making this one of the lightest wireless mouse options out there. And it's that same familiar ambidextrous egg shape, comes in either a black or a white color option, and their hero sensor uses their low latency light speed technology for a DPI range of 100 to 25,600 DPI, which is definitely overkill, but hey, you now have that option. New this year, they also have their massive zero additive PTFE feet for a smoother glide. There's really no need to swap these out with aftermarket skates or anything. They're gonna get the job done. They feel real good. And the battery life is stellar at around 70 hours. Now, obviously, when I was gaming with it, I had no issues whatsoever, no interruptions or anything. And obviously, guys, with a list that's, composed of my top favorites from the year, they're not gonna be anything that's gonna be having these like world-shattering problems or issues, then it wouldn't be on the list. So keep that in mind. For me, this has been great. And honestly, in the end, the Superlight probably would have been higher up on my list if it weren't for the fact that, just some other mouse companies have also been killing it this year and really pushing the lightweight mouse market. My main reasoning for keeping this at number 5 is the price. It comes in at $150, which is definitely on the pricier side when comparing it to others. And the fact that I don't know 100% if they were able to actually make significant changes to the switches to avoid any double clicking issues. But again, price aside, if you're looking at it just as a gaming mouse, it's gonna be a great option for sure. If you love the G Pro Wireless, which a lot of you did, it's hands down one of the top selling mice of all time. Now you can shed nearly 20 grams, it's gonna be lighter. And I'm also impressed that they managed to cut down all that weight without actually putting holes in the shell. So it's all done internally, that's impressive. So all in all, besides the price tag, it's a really solid mouse, but it's coming in at number 5 for me. So what's number 4? Coming in here, I think is hands down one of the more interesting options from this year, mainly because there really hasn't been anything like this out there that we've seen in the past. That's gonna be the Ponage Ultra Custom. And given the name, one of the main selling points is not only the fact that it's wireless, but they let you easily swap out the shells, left and right clicks, and DPI button with different colored options. So if you hate, the cutouts in the shell and you want a different look, you can use their included solid shell to just really make it look unique, switch it up, customize the colors, make it match your setup. On their website, they have numerous different colored option shells you can buy. I think it's like 11 or 12 or something. And you can buy the mouse in either black or white, but also included inside the box is a set of opposite shells. So if you buy a white version, it'll come with black shells. And you get the option included as well of both solid shell or the honeycomb shell. And for me, I've always liked the keyboard hobby for that reason, is the fact that you can do just whatever you want to the keyboard to switch it up. And I always thought that was like the one thing the mouse market has kind of been lacking. So when they first put this out, I was skeptical, but also have it be so that these interchangeable shells and paddles that you could swap out aren't compromising the overall quality. That's huge, because I figured that would be one of the crippling points. But no, doesn't feel cheap, doesn't feel flimsy, they did this right. For shape, as you can see, it's an ergo design, and for size of my scale, it comes in at 69 grams with the stock honeycomb shell. Then from there, whether you want to go with the solid shell, it bumps up a little bit to 73 grams, or you can just remove that bottom shell altogether and get it down to 65 grams if you're someone who has a fingertip grip. On the bottom is their 100% PTFE feet, and even though there are smaller pads in the corners and stuff, they still feel very, very smooth. And the sensor here is a PMW 3335. It's 200 to 16,000 DPI. So all this, and you're thinking, well, this is either too good to be true or it's gonna cost you an arm and a leg. And the mouse is only $89, which I think is extremely fair. Plus, like I said before, if you want those extra colored shells and covered sets, that's just an additional $12. So even for around $100, it is definitely worth it. But like I said, they also include the optional shells inside the box already for you of the opposite color. But if you're big into aesthetics and you just want to match your mouse to your setup, this is probably one of the best ways to go. All right, now coming in at number 3 is a bit of a twofer because we have 2 different options of the same mouse, but they're both different. So first is gonna be the XM1 RGB and then the original XM1, even though this was a newer revised version of the original XM1. So 2 different versions. And again, the RGB here isn't the only difference between these 2. They're pretty different. So for starters, the white version is the non-RGB. This was released, I believe in February or March, I wanna say. I think it's been flying under the radar, but I feel it is a killer option. And yes, as you probably noticed if you have 2 working eyes, these mice are wired. But for the XM1, it is coming in at around 71 grams on my scale. And for its size, I think it's really comfortable and it personally just complements my hand size and my sort of claw fingertip grip hybrid really nicely. It's lower, kind of wide, but it works out. And some things that really separate it from the others out there are its super flexible, almost defying gravity paracord they use here. It is crazy lightweight, and it's honestly one of the best stock cables out there on a mouse to date. The sensor's a PMW 3389, adjustable from 50 to 16,000 DPI. And they're actually using their own form of an analog technology for their binned Omron switches, which means these are pretty much hand-picked to ensure that they get the best of the batch. And in the end, you're getting a faster response time in general. And for a wired mouse, will you be able to tell, that rough 2 to 3 millisecond difference? Probably not, but it's still reassuring to see them using their own custom tech instead of recycling some of the same stuff that's already out there. Shows dedication, really. And switching it over to the XM1 RGB, again, we have RGB now in this version, but that's not the only change. The first difference is the larger PTFE skates underneath, so you can compare them to the original XM1. We have that wider foot spinning across the top and bottom. We also have brand new Kale switches instead of Omron. Personally, I've always liked Kale. I feel like they're a lot more tactile, but these also have a longer lifespan overall. But the one downside to the new XM1 RGB is the fact that it does add around 10 grams. From before around 70 grams to now around 82. And I mean, all things considered, that's still pretty lightweight, But this updated change here is gonna be for those who absolutely need that RGB integration, but also for those who prefer just the stability and reliability of Kale switches over Omron. Needless to say though, for a wired mouse, both are great options. And again, I need to bring up how just flexible and lightweight this cable is. It really does feel wireless in a way. The one thing I really like about this mouse is the coating it has. It's matte, super soft, but still manages to remain grippy at the same time. It's just a very great shape for me in my hand. Obviously, I know with a lot of these lists and videos about gaming mice, it's gonna depend on your hand and your style and stuff like that. But I'm just really a big fan of these for the overall shape, design, and the price. The original XM1 is $60, and the XM1 RGB is $70. They seem to be flying off the shelves on Amazon though, so like I said, keep an eye on these links. Now, winding down the top 5 to the number 2 spot is a mouse that a lot of you probably didn't see coming, but for those of you who follow the channel, you'll know that when I showed this off on Cool Tech under $50 for this month, I was absolutely blown away, and that kind of spoils it. This is under $50, and it is the HyperX Pulsefire Haste. This thing came out of nowhere and just completely shocked me. So this is one of the few times where I actually get something in the mail for the channel, and it's the complete opposite of what I was expecting. And I mean that in like a good way. I figured, okay, a $50 lightweight mouse from HyperX, probably gonna be meh, but no, it's awesome. So coming in at 59 grams, this definitely puts it on the lighter spectrum of all the gaming mice out there. And even though the body does have the honeycomb cutouts to the shell for its weight reduction, the overall ambidextrous shape and design I think is really comfortable to use. They are using the Pixar 3335. Some other physical notes here are the fact they're using their own HyperFlex cable. Get it, HyperX, HyperFlex. You have some subtle RGB integration into the scroll wheel. Underneath are top grade PTFE skates, and then the use of TTC golden micro switches. I like these are super sharp. Then also inside the box, they include a set of rubberized grip tape and an extra set of skates in case they ever get damaged. So not only do you get the mouse for $50, but you get those 2 additions. And the whole thing really with the Pulsefire Haste is just, in the end, it's a great mouse. It's not trying to do, too much. At its core, it's lightweight, it's simple, it's got a super comfy shape. and I really like how there's no compromises anywhere while still giving us that budget-friendly price tag of just $50. Loving a budget option like this, and really, it's a better mouse than a lot of other ones out there that are charging more. GG, HyperX. And now for my number one spot on the top 5 gaming mice of 2020. Personally, I'm gonna give it to Glorious with their Model O wireless. So last year in 2019, we saw the release of the wired Model O, which completely just shifted the entire gaming mouse landscape. This year we get a follow-up with the same mouse now being wireless and still not breaking the bank. So taking a look at it, the shell, shape, design, obviously gonna be identical to the wired Model O, and Glorious still gives you the option to pick it up in either black or white colors, and they did say that the glossy finish variants will be coming on later on down the line. You still have the 6 programmable buttons, the embedded RGB light strip, and a USB-C port for charging. So physically giving the lightweight ambidextrous mouse that lightweight form factor is with their honeycomb cutouts, bringing it to 69 grams on my scale as advertised. And this is really impressive considering the wired Model O was 67 grams. So now, just adding 2 more grams for their wireless technology inside is awesome to see. Underneath is the power button and the DPI LED indicator, and their very own BAMF sensor, which goes up to 19,000 DPI. This sensor is their very own creation, and they said it's designed for low power consumption, and obviously you're not sacrificing performance because it's 1000 Hz polling rate, 400 IPS tracking, and then 19,000 DPI like I mentioned. Now for battery life, they have it rated for 71 hours of gaming. That's with no RGB enabled, and that's definitely pretty high. So obviously having RGB turned on is gonna drain it a lot quicker. And there's also no reason to keep it at 100%. But if you do just keep it fully blasting rainbows, the battery is looking like an estimated 15 hours with full brightness. So again, not worth that sacrifice. One cool thing I'll mention as well with this is when you're charging the mouse, the scroll wheel is gonna act kind of like a charging indicator. It'll pulse from red to orange to green to kind of show you what battery percentage it's at. And with just a 30-minute charge, I got full battery again. So the USB-C port is definitely proving worthy. Now again, the original wired Model O launched last year for $50, which completely shook up the mouse game, you know? And here they are now, only charging $80 for the Model O wireless, which I think is more than fair. And if you compare that to other lightweight wireless mice out there, you'll quickly see this is on the way more affordable side. So, like we saw with the G Pro Super Light, that was nearly double the price of this. So Glorious yet again, giving us a great product for a great price tag, which is why it's coming in at number 1. So while the Model O wireless does take my top spot, like I said before, we still got a lot of honorable mentions to go over. That's gonna start with the Cooler Master MM720. This mouse I personally love, okay? But I realize due to this super flat pancake shape, this is not gonna be for everybody. So I'll keep this segment pretty concise, but at just $50, the 49 gram MM720 is gonna be for those who prefer a smaller mouse overall and mainly uses a claw or a palm grip, because as you can see here, with these grooves and contours, it really is just an ergonomic dream. So if you can master the shape, you're gonna be in good hands, literally. It has a 16,000 DPI sensor, a super lightweight ultra weave cable, uses 95% PTFE feet, and some RGB lighting inside, but it also uses optical switches, which still, for this price point, I think is just really, really impressive. I personally really like the mouse. So if you could try it out and get used to the shape, I think you're gonna be very, very shocked at how comfortable and how good it is. Okay, next is a mouse that I admittedly completely overlooked. It was sitting in the studio for like 2 months. Then when I finally broke it out of the box and started using it, I was blown away. I definitely contemplated putting this on my top 5, but again, with so many great mice this year, it took a bit of a backseat. This is the Ducky Feather, and you know Ducky from their Ducky keyboards. They also made a really good lightweight mouse. Inside is a 3389 sensor up to 16,000 DPI, tips the scale at 66 grams, and manages to do so without any holes or cutouts on the top shell. There are some on the sides, but they also have some rubber grips there. I really like the matte coating they have. It doesn't show any fingerprints or oils and stuff, which is always good. Also has some subtle integrated RGB zones, and it's just $65. And for a company's first gaming mouse release like this, I really liked it, and I needed to include it here because, like I said, it shocked me. I was really impressed when I tried it out. Deserves more attention. Next is the SteelSeries Aerox 3 Wireless. This was also recently released last month, and overall, my review was pretty positive. Some clowns out there are gonna cry about the sensor placement, and honestly, it's fine. My only real complaint in the end is that the feet on here are too thin, so if you wanna swap them out with third-party skates, I think it'll really take it to the next level. But it's a lightweight 66-gram ambi mouse with integrated RGB lighting, uses their TrueMove Air optical sensor up to 18,000 DPI, has great battery life overall. It can connect to your PC via the USB dongle or via Bluetooth, so nice and versatile there. And it comes in at $99, which really isn't too bad. It's definitely a solid release from them using that trusted shape, and I really like what SteelSeries is doing here. Now I gotta acknowledge the Asus RG Chakram. This mouse is definitely a change of pace compared to the others on this list. For starters, it's still wireless, but unlike the recent trend, this is not lightweight, and it's not trying to be. It comes in at 121 grams, but it's also packed with features. So first off, the mouse has hot swappable switches, which is just a super encouraging thing to see. I wish every mouse in existence did this, so big ups for that. Next, we have the ability to connect via their wireless dongle, Bluetooth again, or use it wired. The side of the mouse has a programmable 3D joystick you can swap out, and 3D joysticks are awesome on a gaming mouse. You can use this in games where you're flying, program it to even be analog movements and inputs in game, or for programs like CAD and stuff. The Chakram also has built-in fast charging over USB-C and wireless Qi charging. It also features some of the brightest RGB lighting I've ever seen on a mouse, and I personally really like the translucent shell it has for its design. So again, a heftier mouse in both size and features, and it comes in at $150. Then lastly, real quick, I do want to mention the Razer Viper Mini. I've showed this off a few times on the channel, and there's a lot of fans of the Viper and Viper Ultimate. So this, a smaller, lighter version of that at just 60 grams and only $40. It's ambidextrous, has RGB lighting and underglow, uses their flexible paracord, has a 3359 sensor inside, and for 40 bucks, it's just really hard to complain for the whole total package here. I was really impressed to see them release this at such an affordable price point. This is gonna be great for people who prefer a smaller size, but really like the Viper shape. So alright guys, that'll wrap it up for my video on the top 5 gaming mice from 2020. Plus a fair share of extras, of course. Hope you all enjoyed, and again, I know with these top 5 gaming mice videos and just mice videos in general, the number one thing it's gonna come down to is your hand size and your grip and what kind of mouse shape you prefer. So just my top 5, top 10, whatever, from my personal experience. But like I said, if you wanna check them out, anyone you saw today will be listed for you in the description down below. Keep an eye on those links. I'm sure with Black Friday and Cyber Monday coming up, hopefully some of them will be on sale. We can save some money, you know? But yeah, hope you all enjoyed. If you liked this video, give it a big thumbs up to show your support. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at randomfrankp. And lastly, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I hope you all enjoyed. Have a good day.